Honestly, Jim's mind is so wide-ranging that he studies just about everything, but he brings his passion for understanding the world better into his classroom in a way that motivates students in ways that are just phenomenal.
Jim is probably the most enthusiastic and student-centered teacher I've encountered in 40 years of working in an English department.
He's someone from the moment he's even approaching the door of the classroom is already at a 10. He bursts in and then never dials it down the entire class.
Excitement for young adult literature, because once you're excited about a book, you become a campaigner, not just for that book, but for reading. Most of what I do revolves around young adult literature, matching the right book with the right student, because a good book can change a life and a great book can save a life.
He always comes to class with a little mobile shelf that he wheels in, and it's filled with books. And as he walks through the class, gives books to the students, chooses books for each student. He gets to know them so well that he knows what they like. Jim is the kind of teacher who watches out for everyone in the room. He touches each of their lives. He really is an inspiration. I've never met a teacher that is so on top of his game and does it so naturally as Jim does.
As a teacher of teachers, Jim makes classes fun not only for his students, but for the students' students. They're learning pedagogical methods that they can take with them when they get a job as a teacher. So there are generations of Arizona high school students who have been impacted by Jim's work. Students who've never met Jim, who again have been influenced by his content knowledge, his pedagogy, and his care for the whole person.
Well, I learned teaching from a few people in my life. One was my mother. Oh my gosh, my mother taught Sunday school. She did not have a formal education, but she was the popsicle stick Abraham and Moses puppet show champion of the world. And she could make accommodations for every child in her class to make it interesting and fun and get them involved. And I basically learned from her. My professor at the University of Kansas, Dr. Bushman, always said, get them choosing what they do and get them actively engaged. So I lay out some parameters, but then they do a lot of the choosing and presenting. And in my class, young adult literature, there's something for everyone. They come in with a favorite book, it's why they took the class. Or they're hoping to find out what are books that I would like, that my kids would like. And I think everybody has a story to tell. Every student has a story to tell, and they're the only one that can tell it.
So I ran into Jim in the hallway, and he looked at me and he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Well, Make-A-Wish has contacted me, and they want a professor who can help a student whose wish is to finish her young adult novel that she's written." And Jim said immediately, without batting an eye, he goes, "I'll do it." And he did. And that summer, that young woman finished her young adult novel, and Jim gave her a launch party of her very own and connected her with some people in the Young Adult Literature Network, and it was very lovely.
ASU students are the best students in the world. I've been to a million colleges, but I love these students.
Jim is somebody who cares deeply for the people coming up behind him, whether that's junior faculty, whether that's graduate students, or whether that's undergraduates. He's always got his eye on what the next generation needs, how to empower them, how to make sure that when it comes to having passionate teachers, we'll always have a good supply here in Arizona.
I'd just like to say thank you to my wife, Lori, and that I am so proud of all of my granddaughters and my grandson, and it is my honor to have you in my life.